Hey y'all, this is Marissa with Marissa Moments. So, you know what today is? It is Oracle Tuesday. So without further ado, I'm going to go on ahead and shuffle from my personally made Marissa Moments Oracle deck and see what the message is for the collective for today. So stay tuned. Let's speed this up. Okay, so let's just go for a quick rundown first. So we have maturity is not the death of fun. Challenge the damage, if I can pick it up, challenge the damage. We have kindness is free, don't forget to spread it around. Coming in the reverse is pay attention to the time your angels are speaking. Yep. And then again, in the reverse, we have write down your ideas and then get to work in reverse. Then we have it's okay to be silly. There's a lot of cards this time. In reverse, again, ask for what you need. And then this is it was sideways. So organize your shite, boop, just like that, sideways. And then in reverse, we have liberate yourself from those that aim to diminish you. Ooh, in reverse. I'm already picking something up on that, but I will get to it. And then bottom of the deck is you don't need validation to recognize truth. Okay, so Spirit is really getting into the nitty gritty here. Now, first and foremost, maturity is not the death of fun. What I received behind this is that you have to understand and know when it's time to be serious versus when it's time to let your hair down and actually have fun is what I received. What I'm hearing is like you often take things a little bit too seriously, right? Because it's almost like you fear that if you show that softer side, if you show that playful side, then people are just going to take take an inch, or what does it say? You give an inch, they take a mile or a yard. Yeah, so that's how you feel. You feel like if you show your fun side, that is going to be a display of weakness. But Spirit is saying, no, it's not the death of fun. What you need to do behind that is challenge that damage, because the reason why you have thoughts in that way is because a lot of times, in the past, whenever you have showed that silly side, people have taken advantage of you. People have assumed that you were going to be a pushover. People have assumed certain things about you where you've had the inclination and the need to almost like bulldoze any thoughts that they could possibly have with regard to you being weak. But then Spirit is saying, listen, those were just not your people. That's why they took advantage of the situation and circumstance. That's why they looked for that. Almost what they saw it as is like a crack in your veneer or almost like a crack in the tile that they would chip at and chip at and chip at until they felt like they could break through. But now that you have switched up a lot of the people that you associate with, and not even necessarily in a physical way, not even necessarily in a tangible way, but in an emotional and mental way, you've allowed yourself to come in contact with other types of people, right? But what Spirit wants you to realize is that it's okay to be kind, because not everyone's going to take advantage of that kindness. And yes, I keep pulling at my hair because listen, I haven't done anything with it in a minute. But anyway, let's stay focused. So then in the reverse, we have pay attention to the time your angels are speaking. Now, the reason I feel like this is in reverse is because maybe you have a tendency, what I hear is to almost like pay too much attention, right? Like you pay so much attention to the actual numbers. Like you're like, look at it, 1111, 444, 222. You're like, oh, those are my angels. But what the angels are saying is like, listen, you see the numbers, but you're not paying attention to the moments in which they are happening. And that is why you continue to almost like surpass or bypass is what it is. You continue to bypass the actual message because you're so focused on just the number in itself. You're like 333, 999. Well, that doesn't happen on the clock, but you know what I mean. So start paying attention to the events surrounding when you see those actual angel numbers in order to explain the actual message and the circumstances under which, like, the way that the angels want to speak to you, if that makes sense. Then write down your ideas and get to work. Okay, so what Spirit is saying right now is that oftentimes when you see those angel numbers, because I feel like a lot of these are kind of connected to one another, is that you're coming up with a concept, you're having a conversation about an idea, you're mulling over something that maybe you feel like you're taking from someone else. You're like, you see something that you like and you're like, oh, that's a great idea. But here's the part that you keep negating, the part that you have an expansion on that idea that only you can bring to the table. So what I'm receiving behind this is make sure that you write them down, but don't just write them down in order to have them in a book and say, well, book of great ideas. No, write them down so that way you can take actionable steps towards making them happen, bringing your dreams to fruition, right? And then again, Spirit is saying, listen, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be all buttoned up all the time. You don't have to be serious all the time. It's okay to be silly, like literally. So overall, like just from what we're receiving up to now, what Spirit is saying is that you have to let your hair down and you have to, well, you don't have to do anything, but listen, this is what the cards are saying right now, is that challenge the trauma that you've experienced that has made you feel like you can't let your hair down. Challenge that part of yourself that says you can't be silly, you can't laugh because otherwise people are going to think that you're weak and they're going to try to take advantage of you. No, that's not the case. And what I'm also receiving further than that is as you are having enjoyment in these moments, that's oftentimes when Spirit really starts to speak to you because you're at that higher vibration where they can break through. So that's when you're seeing those angel numbers. But instead of just saying them and pointing them out to other people, internalize the message that you are being sent, because that is where a lot of those ideas are actually coming from. That's when you're in the presence of potential manifestations, all of those things. And then in reverse, ask for what you need. What I feel behind this is that the reason it's in reverse is because you already have a lot of what you need, but you just don't see it that way. Because you feel like you have to be dependent on other people in order to fulfill your destiny, when that's not necessarily the truth. That's why it's even like organize your shite is sideways, because you kind of got it twisted is what I keep hearing. You kind of got it twisted, not all the way, but just a little bit, right? That's why it's on the side and not completely reversed, right? So, okay, let's keep going. Liberate yourself from those that aim to diminish you. And that's in reverse too, because okay, Spirit, what are you trying to say behind this? Liberate yourself from those that aim to diminish you. What I'm hearing is you've already done it. You've already done it. But, okay, the separation here is that you have to understand that it's also a fine line, because as you liberate yourself from those who aim to diminish you, those who try to marginalize you, those who try to steal your shine is what I say, or even just dull your shine is what I'm seeing. Like almost somebody trying to throw dirt on top of you, right? Trying to bury you. But you've already identified these people, and that's why it's in reverse. So you don't have to worry about that as much, because what I'm hearing is you put a lot of emphasis still on those people who used to try to do that. And the reason why it's the used to try to do that, because they don't have that capacity or power anymore, because you've reclaimed that power and you've seen them for who they are and you treat them accordingly. So instead of putting your focus and your energy into something that you no longer even have to worry about, start focusing on the fun times. Start focusing in on that joy and receiving those messages and getting that clarity of where your path is actually leading you. And then bottom of the deck, you get, this is great summation. Thank you, Spirit. You don't need validation to recognize the truth. Even what I'm hearing is not even when it comes to this reading, even when it comes to any type of reading, you don't need someone else to tell you that you are on the right path to recognize that you are on the right path. There are signs, symbols, energies, everything, frequencies, everything that will continue to confirm that, yes, you are moving in the right direction. And even when you make a mistake, you're still moving in the right direction, because it's a course correction saying, oop, That didn't necessarily work out how I wanted it to. So now I know not to go that way. Maybe I need to course correct, and it doesn't even have to be crazy, right? It doesn't have to be from here to here. It can just be, I was here, now I just need to go here. And then maybe I need to go here, or maybe I need to go here, right? You have to just do those own personalized course corrections is what I continue to hear. But overall, have fun with it. That's really the bottom line to this bottom line. Have fun. Don't worry about people taking your kindness for weakness. Challenge that trauma. Challenge that proverbial damage that tells you that you being you is not enough, or you being you is what's going to get you continuously used and abused, because you have liberated yourself. You have recognized the people who have put you in those positions in the past. And now that you have recognized it, you've stolen their power and the power of anyone else that could try to come up with a similar intention. So focus on fun, focus on manifestations, and keep going. But more so than anything, when you have those signs, when you see those angel numbers, write down the ideas that are coming to mind in those moments and then get to work. So that's it. Apples and tomatoes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.